Hello guys. So sometimes I feel as if we spend too much of our lives working. And you might think, oh, but that's the way it's always been. You gotta work. Well, no, that's not the way it's always been. If you think about it, because I was reading an article that there's a tribe in South Africa. They're called the Bushman tribe. Right, their work week ranges from 12 to 19 hours. 12 to 19 hours is not a lot of time spent working, isn't it now? No, that's pretty lazy almost. But I feel as if, that's natural to humans. Like that's the type of life you're designed for. You're designed to work a relatively short working week. You're not meant to work all day. You're meant to chill and just enjoy life more, you know? And the reason why I spend so much time working is because we live in a highly complex society. Because if you lived out in nature, with a hunter-gathering tribe, you wouldn't have a phone, you wouldn't have a water bottle, you wouldn't have a house the way we have houses now, you wouldn't have restaurants that are open most of the day, you wouldn't have internet, you wouldn't have a lot of things. I could go on all day, okay? So yeah, because we have all this stuff, because we live in a highly advanced society, technologically, people need to sacrifice a large chunk of their day, of their week, to working in order to keep this system going. And personally, I think it's ridiculous. Personally, it's unhealthy, and my camera keeps fucking pausing on me for some reason. Um, because the world we live in is not natural. All right. We invented agriculture 10,000 years ago, and that brought us away from the natural way of life. More recently, we've invented the Industrial Revolution, and that brought us even further away from the natural way of life. Okay? And it's not healthy. It really is not healthy. Personally, if you look at a child when they're young, they're so happy and cheerful and full of life, and they just want to enjoy the moment. But, when you become adults, it's not like that. It's like, I hate working this job as a busman, but sure, in 10 years I can retire and fun then, like, it's not good. That's not the way you're supposed to live, okay? Now I read somewhere that the average office worker only does 3 hours of work a day, even though they're there for 8 hours. That's ridiculous. That's stupid, if you ask me. Because, like, office work is intellectually challenging. It's difficult, It's not like McDonald's where it's like menial kind of work. There you can do that for hours every day, but, office work is a little bit different. And, so, yeah, why if you can have all your work done in 3 hours, why would you spend 8 hours working in an office? That doesn't make sense. Well, they say the real reason is because they want to maintain this whole idea of consumerism. Because, if people have a limited amount of free time, they will go crazy spending as much money as they can to make the most of their precious little free time. Okay? Like, let's say someone's from Cork and it's a weekend off from work and they want to make the absolute most of it. So what do they do on a Saturday? Ireland are playing Argentina in rugby, and these people from Cork, they buy tickets. They have to pay for train ticket to go to Cork. Maybe maybe after the match they go out for an expensive meal at a restaurant. They try to spend as much money as they can, make the absolute most of it, of their time. They don't have that much free time. If they only spent 3 hours a day working, if they worked a 15 or even a 20-hour work week, they wouldn't be spending that much money because they have more time to just that fulfill them. Like like what I'm doing now, making YouTube videos. Like a lot of people wouldn't bother doing this. They wouldn't bother creating this stuff. They're like, oh, I need to get that quick dopamine fix. I want to go out and do something, and spend loads of money, and that's just ridiculous. And it's a system that benefits the few, not the many. Really, it really is. Like some of the logic we have nowadays is so stupid. I remember when I was in school. I remember my dad used to give out to me for not studying enough for my leaving cert, and my dad said, "If you had a job, you'd be doing that for 8 hours a day." What? No, I don't. I don't. I work at McDonald's. I don't study at McDonald's. It's not part of the job description. Like flipping burgers or working on the chicken batch is not the same thing as studying. Like I only read for 30 minutes a day. That's all the volume I can handle as a reader. Plus I do make some YouTube videos as well. But I spend 8 hours a day working. What's this easier menial work? So I think that's the idea. That's why they tell students to study 8 hours a day. It's to get them used to the whole idea that in the workplace you have to work 8 hours a day. But that's really stupid, and that causes extreme burnout. It's not sustainable, unless you're like Elon Musk or one of those guys. So I think what would be a better idea is, let kids have, a weekend job or a summer job when they're 16, 17, 18. And then maybe just do a little bit of studying in their free time, they get home from work, or before they go to work, depending on what their shift is. I think that would be a much better idea, trying to get people used to, the work week, because, studying is very intense. And McDonald's is not very intense unless you have a very low IQ. So think of it this way: working a job at McDonald's, it's like walking. Studying is like running. You can walk for hours and hours on end, but you can't run for hours and hours on end. Do you know what I mean? So that's why the logic is a bit stupid there. Um, and personally, yeah, I used to study like 5 hours a day from age of 16 to 17. Got no benefit from doing that whatsoever. But the last year I've been doing a reading routine. I started off reading for 20 minutes a day. Recently I've started doing 30 minutes a day, and I've improved my brain far more doing that amount of work than I did from studying for 5 hours a day. You know what I mean?